Welcome back, everybody. How's it going? I'm here to talk to you guys about some comics. It's only gonna be four. I mean, it's four today, but I think it's gonna go pretty quick. They're all pretty short. Um, we got Action Comics 1029, Power Rangers number 4, Mighty Morphin number 5, and Oblivion Song number 30. 30, yeah. So they're all pretty good books. So I know I said that I wasn't gonna read Action Comics 1029 because I don't really pull this originally. It's just not a book that I want at all, and the only reason I got it was because Superman, which I do have on my pull list. It's Superman. The last issue was a part 1 of the Golden Age, and then this one here is part 2. And I could not leave it just half read, so I gave in, got this Action Comics, and I'm kind of glad I did. It's short, sweet, to the point. John came back from the future, and he knows what's gonna happen to his dad. He knows how he dies, and that's today with the breach. that's there. Superman's gonna go in to close the breach, and he's not gonna come back, and that's how he dies. Couple of things that bothered me about this issue was there's two things actually, and both are conflicting. Because on one hand, it bothers me that John is telling him, "You're gonna die. Don't go out there. I read about this. I studied this. I was in the future. I know how you die. There's stories on top of stories of how you die, and this is it." And Superman's just like, "No, it's fine. I'm gonna be okay. You don't know what you're talking about." It's like, no, he facts are facts. He read these stories, so he knows what he's talking about, right? Like, he literally read history books to tell him that this is the day of his death. I can't just pick and choose my history. I can't just say, "Oh, you know what? Whatever historic event never happened. Not at all. The death of Superman never happened." I can't just pick and choose that. So if John, who just came from the future, is telling you that you're gonna die, maybe take that for face value. But on the other hand, of course, he doesn't die, right? John jumps in at the last second, protects him from a blast. Then whatever machine they're using to go to this other side of a breach, dimensional breach, whatever machine they're using to close it, John takes that out of Superman's grasp, and actually goes into the rift himself, and closes it. So great, cool. And he's able to close it and then get out right before it closes. So it's a heroic moment. Good job. And it's very sweet. One of the things, it's confusing because the green thought bubbles, they're Superman's, and it doesn't seem like the green thought bubbles doesn't tell me that it's Superman. The whole time I was thinking that it was just somebody else talking or narrating, and they were going to be revealed at the end or something like that. But no, it was Superman the whole time. It just didn't feel right. But anyways, he's just saying John is at the end of his golden age, where he thinks every child has a golden age where they think their parents are unstoppable, invincible, anything like that. But every kid gets to the end of the golden age where they see that their parents are just as human as they are, and they make mistakes and they fall. And this was the end of John's golden age, and that's bittersweet, because at least now he knows that everything that he taught him, everything that he instilled into John and tried to teach him at any point, he finally gets it, and he can take care of himself. He's his own man now. And while that was sped up by Bendis, it's still a good moment for both of them. Bittersweet, like I said. But John doesn't understand, hey, no, I read this. This is when you're supposed to die. I don't understand. So that's my issue number 2. I hate time travel. I really hate it because there's always some kind of paradox, and like even with like the MCU probably did it best, honestly. But where they said like that past becomes your new future, it makes sense. So right here with John, he's saying I don't understand. Honestly, John should have read in the books that he was there. Like it shouldn't be a surprise because he goes to the future and then he comes back, right? But there's that gap in between. Technically, he could go back. He can go to the future, spend 10 years there, and then come back in the same moment that he left and almost be like he never left. And then he literally could have gone, read about his adventures and whatever, and then gone back 10 years later at the same moment and actually done those adventures. So if anything, he should have, while he was in the future reading about Superman's death and anything, he should have been able to just like say, oh look, I'm here with him and blah blah blah. But time never works the way you want it to in comic books, and it's always changing. It's a fluid thing, whatever. So that's another thing that John needs to understand, that that's exactly what it is. Time is fluid and it's not a linear path. So by him coming back and being there, which is exactly what Superman told him, it's like you were here. So that's what changed, and that's annoying to me. Like that's such a cop out, right? No, Superman should have died there, whatever. But it is what it is. And then at the end we see Mongol on War World, and like two other people that they're all Mongols, I guess. I don't know. I forget about that race. I don't really know too much about, but they're watching him, and he's like, "Can such a being die?" is what the old one says, and the young one says, "As long as he's alive, he can die." So, and that's just how it ends. It says, "To be continued. War World Rising." Great. And then we have Infinite Frontier has the little 2 title things going on right now. So the next, the little side story at the end is about the Midnighter, which I have zero knowledge about. I just know it's Midnighter and Apollo, and that is it. I don't really know anything else. I read it. It was a little wordy. I mean, it was entertaining for what it is, but I don't care. And this is the last Action comic book that I'm gonna pick up for a while. The story, The Golden Age, that was a good storyline. I do appreciate it for what it is. It's a sweet father-son moment, which we have been missing because of Bendis. Never gonna get over it. That's what I wanted. But it looks like we're getting it back, and hopefully John continues in the Superman title, because I don't want to pick up Action Comics. But yeah, it's a good story. Let me know what you thought. But yeah, time sucks. I hate anytime. Flash is one of my favorite characters, and anytime they use him as a time travel anything, I get mad, because I know I'm gonna get mad. I know I'm gonna get frustrated. But it is what it is, right? Next up, we have Power Rangers number 4. Oh man, I'm trying to think of what happened here. Oh, it's the Omega Rangers. Oh man, I like this title and everything, but I think this title needs to end. Omega Rangers have completed their purpose, and now it's just, honestly, it kind of just feels like a money grab. Why not have somebody spend 2 comics worth for 1 story, right? So we have Mighty Morphin and we have Power Rangers. But anyways, either way, story-wise, it's not a bad story. Right now they're Jason, Zach, and Trini. They are looking for the Imperials, and the only way they can find him right now is with Lord Draken. So they kidnapped him from Zordon, and now they're trying to go. They went back to Draken's made-up universe that he made whenever he took over everything in the Shattered Grid. That world is still there. I didn't realize this, but the world is still there, and it's now his prison. So he's been there for a long time. So it's Angel Grove. Basically looks just like their home and everything, but it's in the middle of nowhere, in the galaxy. But so like I said, they're searching for the Imperials, and the last clue that they have is that the emissary, the Red Ranger emissary, he got killed by the Imperials in this world. So they're looking for the Red emissary's body, but it seems to have gotten lost. Like Draken was saying, like, yeah, this is where it was, but you know the world's moved a little bit, so we're just gonna have to go searching for it, which is a little out of plan. Everyone's a little on edge because everything looks like their world, but it's completely destroyed, so it's a little unnerving. Makes sense. And then out of nowhere, these spirit animals show up, and these are the same spirit animals that we see in the Shattered Grid that Draken like defends the city against in his own dream made up world. But after he was defeated, these animals are actually now his bodyguard. No, not bodyguards. I can't think. They're meant to keep him in there, like a prison. So Jason, Trini, and Zach, they're saying like, hey, you know, we'll protect you from them, whatever. And he's like, that's not the problem. They don't care about me. I'm exactly where I need to be. I'm not leaving. It's you guys that aren't supposed to be here. So then they go into this whole chase scene, which of course leads them to find the body of the Red Emissary, and but at the same time they get separated. Trini and Zach get separated with Lord Draken, and while they're looking around the town, they get into this like sporting goods store, and you see all these sentries, Red Ranger sentries, Black Ranger sentries, and they're handmade, and they quickly come to the conclusion Draken made these. Like, so how long was he there by himself? And Draken shows up, and he's mad because he didn't think that anybody would ever see this. He immediately takes down all the things. Like, basically he's hiding. You know, he's hiding his embarrassment, and he like destroys all the sentries. And he's like, you were never supposed to see this, blah blah blah. You guys would have never survived. You don't understand how hard it was and stuff like that. And you know, they're like, hey, we get it. Like, no, it's rough. You know, like, we don't blame you. We're not judging you. And he's like, you weren't supposed to see this, blah. And he's just angry at it. And then out of nowhere, one of the bear spirits shows up, kind of distracts everybody. Zach uses one of those sentries in his advantage, so he can like pretend like he got killed. So he's basically playing dead in front of the bear. So I guess that does work, playing dead for bears, depending on the bear, right? But now they found it. Jason found the Red Ranger emissary, and took it back on the ship with Chi. And they're about to leave, but they forgot about that Falcon spirit, and it's about to get them. And what have I already forgot? One of the Zords, man. Oh, there's like a Dragon Zord and the White Tiger Zord. They're just floating around, pretty much destroyed, and it helps them escape. So they escape. They find the remains. Chi puts it back together, and they realize that there's a piece missing in the center. So they said, you know, this whole time we're trying to find a way to track the Imperials, but what if we track the emissary signature instead? And that's how it ends. They find a way to track the emissary, so they'll hopefully find the Imperials soon. And I'm really hoping that as soon as they find the Imperials, struggle, and then defeat the Imperials, that this book is over, because we really don't need this book. But at the end of this, we see a scene like a Western scene where a bunch of monsters are playing some card game, and one monster keeps winning, and then finally he gets shot for winning too much, and it's just this bar scene, and it does remind me of the bar scene from Power Rangers in Space, where we first meet Andros. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, and I think it's actually going to lead into the book that just came out, I think this week, the Unlimited, Power Rangers Unlimited, Heir to the Darkness. Definitely, I think that's going to have something to do with it, some kind of like storyline or whatever, some connection. But, and then the next issue has that guy, I don't know his name, the guy that's kind of like green lines all over him, kind of like a grid, from Power Rangers Lost in Space. That's the cover, so I can see that connection. But that's what I mean by I see the connection of this bar with the story continuing, is that I think that they're going to use this to keep bringing in one-shot titles like the Heir to the Darkness, because we already have another one, Edge of Darkness, coming up, and I think they're just going to keep doing that just to get our money continuously, and it works because I'm going to buy them. So good for them. Kind of mad about it, but it's working, so it is what it is. But it's a good story. Like I said, I do enjoy these books, the Power Rangers title, but I don't think that we need 2 titles. So it is what it is. The next one, let me pull this up here, let me not forget like I usually do, is Mighty Morphin number 5, where we get this beautiful cover with the Dragon Zord and the White Tiger Zord in the back. I was actually thinking about this with Godzilla and versus Kong coming out. I was like, oh, we're pitting these two together, but we forgot all about the actual king here, and that's the Dragon Zord. But that's just my thoughts. But this was a little maddening because it's Matt. We found out that Matt was the newest Green Ranger, and I called it. A lot of people called it, and as happy I am that I called it, like, great, cool, I'm also mad that I called it because I did not want Matt to be that guy. It was obvious too. Like, he was all angry at the other Rangers, and he's got some kind of resentment going there. And I mean, who else could it be? Like, who else was around them but wasn't a Ranger, right? It's not gonna be Skull and Bulk, right? But yeah, so he was revealed, and then this is kind of like the origin to how he became the Green Ranger. And it starts off by him saying he's like, I'm not brave, I'm actually a coward, and blah blah. But bravery cannot exist without fear, cowardice, or whatever. And he deals with his fear very well, which is what makes him brave and makes him qualified to be the Green Ranger. But then it goes on to, like, when he sees Billy, he's like, oh, hey Billy, what's going on, how's it been? Like, he doesn't seem mad at all. When he talks to Kimberly later on in this, hey Kimberly, like, oh, I saw that you have a new Green Ranger, what do you think? And she's like, I don't know who it is, we don't know who it is, but I trust him. And he seems like he wants to tell her, like, he gets cut off, but he seems happy to talk to her. And so, like, it's just completely different from what we have been observing, which is no talking, no anything. Seems kind of pissed at them, not even willing to say thank you or hey, you're welcome for me helping you or anything. He just does with the job and then he leaves, which, great. But here he comes off as he's not upset with them. He doesn't resent them. He doesn't anything. He's just the Green Ranger because Grace and Billy chose him, and he's willing to take that responsibility. And I think it's kind of cool that they mention, like, hey, he says that he has 0 fighting experience. He's like, the last time he got in a fight was like in the 4th grade because somebody stepped on his comics, which is, I completely agree, shouldn't be doing that. But Grace says, just kind of let your instincts take over. The suit will do the rest, and that's kind of cool because for the most part, I know this is a children's show and everything, but like these are all teenagers, and like yeah, 2 or 3 of them are trained martial arts or whatever, but for the rest, one can dance, one is a nerd, one is a cheerleader. Like there's no way that they can fight as well as they do in the beginning. Of course, after some training, great, but in the beginning, it made no sense, and now it kind of makes sense with Grace saying the suit will help you wherever you're lacking. And then when he does his actual training, he does bad. His parents find out that he quit football, which makes sense. You can't be playing football and saving the world at the same time, right? But they were really getting onto him, especially his mom. He's like, no, you need that degree, you need that scholarship for college. You know, we're not gonna pay for it or anything like that. But his dad does come in, and it's just like, hey, we're gonna support you with any decision, but we're just gonna make sure that you're making an educated decision. And I thought that was really cool. Bulk in school are interviewing people, trying to figure out who the new, or they think it's the same Green Ranger. They don't know that it's someone different. Obviously, they didn't announce like, oh, Green Ranger is now the White Ranger. They just know that Green Ranger's gone, White Ranger came in, and that's it. But when they see this Green Ranger, they say, hey, he's back. And I like this girl who, I don't think we get her name until later, but she's asking all the right questions. She said, I don't get it. One minute he's fighting the Rangers, next minute he's helping them, and then he's gone. And now he's back again. What's going on? And so she's asking some good questions. Other guys just saying, I like the new suit, and I like this. I forget her name. Was it Candace or Skull's girlfriend? I think it was Candace, but I'm not 100% sure. But she's saying, "Is like, well, are we certain that it's a guy? You know, looks can be deceiving." And it's funny because she is deceiving people. That's not what she looks like. She is actually from Zordon's world, and we discovered that in the last issue, at the end of the last issue. And so that was pretty funny. But then, really cool, Matt gets his Dragon Zord. I want to call it a knife, but I know it's not a knife. Dagger. There you go. He gets his Dragon Zord dagger, and he calls the Dragon Zord. And that's pretty cool. That's Godzilla coming out of the water kind of moment. Like I said, Kimberly talks to him, which makes him want to like speak out, and they go into that whole fight with the Chaos Putty and how he was able to control the Dragon Zord, and they were about to fuse together, and then there was a huge explosion. And then in the last issue, when the Power Rangers teleported and like pretty much looked like they ran away, he was still there, and he didn't know what was going on. He couldn't communicate with Grace, so he just jumps down to the street and starts trying to take care of the people there, which was really cool. Yeah, no. There's that girl again that was asking those questions. Violet, there's her name. Okay, so Violet is there, and she's like trying to get everybody to run away, and then he comes in, saves the day. And she's like, well, the other Rangers ran away, thought we were alone. And he's like, no, I'm here, I'm gonna help you, I'm gonna do the best that I can. And then Grace comes in. So I thought, as I'm reading him saying like, I am here, it kind of reminds me of All Might, I am here. But I thought that's how he was gonna win the hearts of the public. Everyone's gonna be mad at the other Rangers for running away, and he was gonna be a hero for staying and protecting them. But no, it didn't work out like that. Grace immediately teleports him without his consent, and he's mad. He's yelling out like, no, because it literally, as he's saying, I'll keep them busy or whatever, he gets transported away. And when he gets back, he's fighting with Grace. Hey, we need to go back, we need to whatever. Grace is trying to let him know that she's gonna do everything she can, but like she's not gonna send him back into that dome. And earlier in the chapter, she was saying that she doesn't really want to play by the Rangers rules. So Matt throws it back to her face and says, we need to break the rules, and I need to get the public to trust me. So that's when he gets in front of the camera and reveals who he is, which it did get me thinking. I guess people don't really know that the Rangers are humans, right? They just assume they have humanoid bodies, so why not? But this is for sure like the first time that anyone's seen a Ranger unmasked. So now they're gonna figure out that they're all a bunch of humans. They're probably gonna like the Green Ranger more just because he did do that. He did remove his mask, his helmet, and said, I am here to protect, and I'm doing the best that I can, and I need you to trust me. And so I think that'll work. Obviously it's going to work in the moment of danger, but it might backfire in the long run. And he's obviously, but he's going to lose his Green Ranger powers. I'm thinking that the Chaos Crystal or whatever is going to run out of energy or something, but he can't sustain. He can't be the Green Ranger. I mean, I guess Shattered Grid again changed everything, so we don't really know what the future is. We can assume that like all the other shows are gonna happen, like they're gonna come up, but we don't know. Like I said, Shattered Grid changed everything. But finally, like I said, today I'm moving a little fast, just cause. Let's go to Oblivion Song, which it's coming to an end, unfortunately. I say that, but it seems like it's been around for a while. I think it came out in either 2017 or 2018, and we're only on issue 30. And it's a monthly title. It's just grueling, and this one, I say grueling and everything, but I do like this book. Every month when I read it, I have to read like the last two because I have no idea what's going on. Except for this one, because the last issue was pretty action packed. What happened? The Gozan. The Gozan finally broke through into our world. They finally figured out how to go from Oblivion to Earth. And what they're trying to go to Earth, they're trying to invade it, is because there's a growth happening in their world, and they can't stop the growth. So they said, all right, fine, let's just move to another world, and that's what we're gonna do. So they go to Earth, and the military is ready for the attack, but everything they threw, guns, tanks, missiles, planes, like literally the kamikaze, like there was nothing to stop them. Their technology is so far advanced, which is crazy that they're so far advanced compared to us, but they took forever, and they needed us to learn how to go into this and to go into the Earth to teleport. So it looked like they were going to take over because, like I said, we threw everything at them, and they weren't stopping. One guy was pretty much stopping everybody, and so Nathan goes out there, and we discover in this issue that Nathan has been with like the old leader, the former leader of the Gozan. I'm just gonna say Gozan. He's been with him. He's been learning the ways of the Gozan, and he even like went through trials that are special to their species, and so he knows them very well. And this was about 3 years ago. This book loves to jump. This book loves to go from the starting point to 5 years later to 20 years later. Like it's just a lot's going on. But he challenges the main guy. I think his name is Cthulhu. No. Yeah, Cthulhu. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think it's Cthulhu. he challenges him to a one-on-one battle, basically like almost any other like action movies where it's like two warring countries or whatever. It's like a challenge you to a one-on-one fight. That's how we're gonna solve everything. And Cthulhu is just like, this human, how does he know our ways? First of all, like, how does he know our ways? Second, why does he think that matters? Like, I'm stronger than you, I'm faster than you, I'm smarter than you. Like, there's no way that you're gonna beat me. But Nathan's just like, well, here I am. Come on, like Randy from South Park. And just like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go. And so they start to fight, and it's a pretty good fight because Nathan discovers that, or he doesn't discover, he knows this is part of his plan. He starts teleporting, kind of like Nightcrawler. He starts using his teleporter to go from Earth to Oblivion and then back to Earth, and just keeps fighting like that. And Cthulhu's like, you have no honor, blah blah blah, and he's like, well, the way of the Gozan is to win by any means, so I'm using everything at my disposal, right? And so it's pretty smart. I did not expect him to do that. It's really cool. Nightcrawler is like one of my favorite X-Men, so to see him teleporting like that without the bamf, it was still pretty cool. And so I don't know why I didn't realize this, but Cthulhu obviously has his own belt that can let him teleport. That's how he got into the Earth. But then he starts to use it, and like, so now it's just like two teleporters fighting and trying to get the upper hand. At the same time, we had these two scientists who while the Brawn are trying to take care of this problem and solve it by fists, the brains are over here trying to solve this problem with science. And the guy's saying they don't want to take over our world just because, like, they're trying to escape the growth. So if we can stop the growth, maybe we can stop the invasion. They have plenty of samples from Oblivion, and they've discovered that there's one or they don't know yet, but they're trying to discover this one organic factor that can kill the growth, because the growth doesn't happen in our world. So the fact that they have these samples from Oblivion that are just fine, that means that there's something that they can take away, and as soon as they take it away, it's going to start killing whatever that growth is, and that's what they're trying to discover. So then we go back to the fight. One of the girls talking with the generals is like, we already sent tanks, we already sent missiles, we already sent air support, guns. What else do we have? Because nothing's stopping them. And then we go back into the fight, and honestly, it's a really good fight. They're trying to get into each other's heads, like, oh, you're very predictable, or you're getting tired, things like that. But in the end, Nathan comes out on top, which is completely, I did not see that coming. I really thought that Nathan was going to get hurt or something. Cthulhu has been, give me 1 second. Cthulhu has been non-stop this whole time. He's been basically, he's killed, or he hasn't killed, but he's like fought off many people, many of his own people, and he just has been seen like this non-stop character. Like, he's strong. So the fact that Nathan, this human, was able to cut him in half, like that was just a little too out there for me. Even though Nathan has been training for the last 3 years as in their ways, this guy's been training his whole life, so it makes zero sense. But last words, you always gotta have that villain's last words, is you're too late. Plan's already done. And then we get some pages of like this little green bead heading to Paris. And it takes over the Eiffel Tower, and you see the Oblivion jumps in. Or not, doesn't jump in, it just gets replaced. So just like in the very beginning of this story, a whole chunk of Paris gets transported to Oblivion, and then that chunk of Oblivion gets transported back to Paris. So now we have their world here. Same thing in Hong Kong, and then Los Angeles. So this is all over the world. And Nathan, I mean, obviously he's not seeing this, but he's just like, what is it? What is it's too late for what? Too late for what? And Cthulhu's dead. That's how it ends. It's a great issue. Very action packed, like I said. And I just can't believe that it's ending in 6 issues. This is 30. It's got 6 more issues. 36. It's already been announced that 36 is the last issue. So I don't know what they're gonna do in 6 issues to end this. It started off with Nathan trying to find his brother Ed. Then in the middle, Ed trying to find Nathan, and now they gotta stop this invasion. A lot of twists and turns have happened. I love it. I'm excited. I can't wait to read the next one. But other than that, I got nothing else for you guys. My next books are gonna be Suicide Squad, Champions, and 2 others, maybe 3 others. I don't know yet, but that's where I'm at. Other than that, I appreciate it. Thanks for showing up. I'll see you guys later.